Welcome.
Are you ready to be a success? Master your career. You are a success. She's a career master. A success.
Welcome. This is Dr. Lisa Wicker with the Inside Career Success Show. I am truly excited to once again be here with you on this Thursday morning. We are about to start our next episode of the Inside Career Success Show. And today's show is, like all others, just fabulous. It's about women who are in the marketplace doing the business of business, women who support others, women who pave the way for others, women who are making a difference. And so, like all other shows, we are excited about our guest speaker today. And our theme is Millennials in the C-suite. And we're going to also talk about diversity and inclusion and equity. And so, as we've said before, Career Mastered is a publication that is quarterly. It launched in 2018 in New York City, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Detroit, Michigan. From that platform, we have now grown globally, and our mission is to advance women's leadership. And we do that in a number of ways. We do that through our annual summit. We do that as well through our everyday work with girls and mentoring them. And we do that with shows like this and the medium of our magazine. And so we have the ability to support and expand the voice of the woman. And so I thank you for joining us today. And I'd like to introduce to you our speaker, but I also like to let you know that while we are talking with women, we will also be interviewing and talking with men as our guest speaker, those men who are allies, those men that support us. And so we're really, really, truly blessed to have this platform and want to thank LinkedIn for the opportunity, as well as having the ability to stream to Facebook and to YouTube. And so, without further ado, I'd like to bring on our guest speaker today and introduce you to her. Welcome, Vaughn. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Dr. Wicker. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I would like to be able to share with our audience a little bit about your background before we hop in to understand more about your successes, your triumphs, and your challenges and inspirations. And so, what I normally do, and I'm going to do it like I always, I'm going to read just a little bit of your bio and not try to remember it all. And so, this being our 8th show, we're really excited to have Vaughn Nguyen. Vaughn is the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at Schoolcraft College. Vaughn is charged with developing marketing and communication strategies that promote the college's mission and increase community awareness. Additionally, she chairs the college's inaugural Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force, which was formed in 2020. Before joining Schoolcraft, there's surely a lot more to her background, and I'd just like to share a little bit about that. Before joining Schoolcraft, Vaughn was the Director of Trustee Development, overseeing 132 Beaumont Health Trustees in southeastern Michigan. She was Michigan's Executive Director of the Asian Pacific American Chamber of Commerce and Livonia, Michigan, where she launched the Economic Advancement Program in the minority business community. Vaughn has more than 15 years experience of digital marketing, having had some experience working on accounts for General Motors as well as Ford Motor Company. And so, as you can see, she's well-rounded, and certainly being from Detroit, she understands the market and the industry, not only from the community and PR standpoint, but from an automotive standpoint as well. She's received numerous awards, including the Career Mastered Women's Leadership Award, as well as the Crain's 40 Under 40 Class of 2015, and so much more. And so rather than me tell you more, let's hear from Vaughn herself. Welcome again, Vaughn. We're so glad to have you here.
Again, thanks for having me. This is such a great honor.
Oh, absolutely. And so we're just going to hop right into the convo and just have a great time today. And we welcome all of those that are watching this morning. Thank you for joining us. And as you come on, please write in the chat where you're from and perhaps any questions that you might have, and maybe we'll get to them before we end our conversation. So, Vaughn, I've heard you say that your roots are what makes America, America. And I find that interesting given where we are today. Can you tell us your philosophy about this statement and why this is an important part of diversity?
Sure. Well, what was once features that define America in a positive light really are polarizing us. And we are unique in that we have the largest share of racial and ethnic minorities in this country, and that's a great thing. But we need to embrace also how our country was built.
Mhm.
It takes everyone's story to make America the nation it has become, and we can't really lose sight of that. Everybody has a story. You have a story, I have a story, and many, many others. So we can't lose sight of that. But your roots really is what makes this country.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you think about people that forget where they come from, right? And really, I don't really understand how you can bridge to the next place without understanding the foundation where you came. And so, tell us about your youth. And you grew up in Texas, I understand, and you're the first generation immigrant. Tell us about your story. I think it's powerful. I think that, and just reading it, I got so much out of understanding you, the person, not the title, right? And for me, that's important because uh, the story about your parents, how they came and what they did. Can you share with us something about your roots?
I'm very proud of my parents. I mean, I was born and bred in Texas, so when I get super excited, you'll hear the Southern twang come out. But I am a first generation Vietnamese American. My parents came from Vietnam right at the fall of Saigon. And, my parents made the conscious decisions to really seek freedom for themselves and really truly increase their quality of life. I will tell you that their resilience, their grit, and above all, their work ethic is what has molded me and made me the person who I am today. I mean, I have it good compared to their lives because for those of you who understand history, when you've heard of the boat people, my mom was one of them. That she didn't know where her future was going to be. She hopped on a boat hoping for a better life, and it could have been a life or death situation, and it was tough. We don't talk about it a lot in our family, but I know that they've struggled. And because of their resilience, I am who I am today. I learned from them, really. So I owe it all to them.
Wow. I mean, when you say that, I mean, we can say those things, but to have lived that, your mom lived it.
Yep.
And it's right in the next generation for you. And so as you continue, and recently, congratulations, you just got married.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
As
you.
you start to build your family and share these stories, these are real roots that don't need to be forgotten, right?
Absolutely.
And so, one of the things you've said is that you need to pack a lot of patience when immigrants come to a new country. Why do you believe this is necessary? And how does diversity play a part in the need for patience?
Sure. Well, my parents have taught me they were going through the process, the paperwork, assimilating to the new culture. There's a lot of processes and systems in place to help immigrants live out their American dream. Um, but also the culture, the language, the customs, etc. They're drastically different from their homeland. And while the wait to the citizenship pathways is a bit long, I will tell you that what they have told me and from other folks that I know from different countries, America really offers immigrants a second opportunity to thrive. And my parents are among other immigrants are living proof of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about the patients and where we are in the crisis of diversity today in our nation, what do you think in terms of how we can do better in how we're welcoming people? I mean, I just think about that in a way that says we could do some things a little bit differently. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think the common phrase we hear about change to better ourselves as a nation, as a community, I think we should look at the word change. And it's not really change I'm seeking because obviously that can't happen overnight, but it's really the steps to help facilitate change. It
Mhm.
starts with your contacts, your connections, your community. I mean, DEI work is not about duplicating what other organizations have successfully achieved, but really to gain awareness of the types of diversity within your groups, your network, and how it plays out for everybody, for each individual, and how then that affects society as a whole. The time and effort you commit to improving DEI within your network is really the first step in this important work.
Right.
To me, I'm a firm believer of fixing your own home before you fix the community. So
Well,
inclusion has to happen every day, all day.
I love it. I mean, the old saying, you can't put out, you need to look at what's in your eye before you try to put out something else in someone else's eye, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the idea really is that change has to happen with you first before you're
Yes.
trying to do something else. And I often believe that diversity is the decision to include.
Yes. It's inclusion all the way. I mean, I don't think you're going to get diversity until you include people and then be equitable, and then you get the whole DEI, right? So it has to start somewhere. And I really truly think by including people and educating is really the first step.
Right, right. And talking about education, you are the you are the chief marketing officer and communications officer for Schoolcraft, and that, first of all, is commendable.
Thank you.
And there's diversity in that in a number of ways for you, not only from your culture, your background, your education, but because you are a millennial. That's, in the C-suite or in the senior leadership team. I'm sure you can share a perspective of that. Before I start to ask you about your experience at Schoolcraft, tell me, if you can, just a little bit about where you think millennials are now in the marketplace, so to speak, in terms of contributions.
Well, I will tell you the word millennial, as much as we still kind of hear it float around in memes and in conversation and blogs and articles, we're getting older. I mean, I'm approaching 40. so, so I think,
The
that's
big
great that,
four, the big 4-0. I'm sorry.
well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready for the 4-0. I was ready for the 3-0. Age is just a number, but I will tell you that millennials in the C-suite, um, you're going to start seeing a lot more because, every generation has to retire and then the upcoming generation. So you're going to see a lot of us come through the pipeline. I think what we really need to do is coach our generation after us. And you're starting to hear the Gen Z, right? You're
Mhm,
starting to see
mhm,
more
mhm.
blogs and articles about that. And I think there's a fine, good mix between millennials and any other generation above us or below us that can make the workplace and leadership a more seamless transition each time. I
Mhm.
firmly believe that it does take work, but it's not just who's better at what generation. It's not that. Every generation has a good positive spin to it, and some challenges that we learn through. But that's the beauty of we talk to each other. We could be better in our
Yeah.
communities and companies.
Yeah. Do you find that in this mixture, this melting pot of age, for example, that part of diversity, that there has become the blending with millennials perhaps being the leader of baby boomers and or Gen X being the leader of millennials, that we've gotten past that, or do we still have work to do?
I think we still have work to do. It's just like we hear the term sandwich generation, where you're a working professional taking care of your elderly parents, but also taking care of your children, right? So I think that can be applied and it's parallel to the workforce. I think that you're gonna, speaking for myself, I know that I have teammates that are a lot older than I, and they have self-professed that, and there's nothing wrong with it. I learn from them and the history because, again, you talk about foundation and roots. You got to know where people have been to see what works and what hasn't worked, and apply it to ongoing strategies. And then those that are younger than myself, they bring a new level of spunk. They bring new trends that I'm not aware of, and it's scary to say. I feel like I'm old, but I'm not. I'm just, there's so many things evolving in the world of marketing and companies in general that you just got to stay on top of it. And you have people who can and who can help you and support you through that process.
Right, right. I love it when you say, if you, Vaughn, feel like you're getting older. I'm not going to even mention me when we start talking about all these platforms that we're trying to keep up with and all the technology. I'm going to say this, that I've come to the realization that even cursive writing is no longer taught in schools, and I was not aware of that.
Yes.
And so you're sitting there like, okay, why am you writing in cursive and no one understands?
Understands it.
And you're thinking, what happened?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Times have changed, so I get why it's not needed. I mean, I do like an old-fashioned thank you note, right? Once in a while.
Amen, sister. I just had written one right before our thing because I had to thank somebody. I'm like, in cursive. I wrote in
Yeah,
cursive.
in cursive, right? Right. So we still need to keep a few things, but let's talk for a moment about how you combine marketing and diversity strategies in your role, because I think that is happening. So tell me why it's important that you do that.
I think if you just take it out a level and just talk about brands in general, some brands fail to really reach a larger audience because their target markets are too narrow. But that's where diversity marketing comes in. For us here at Schoolcraft, we are committed to using real students, real testimonials for our collateral pieces, advertising, to show the community that we see them and
Yeah.
that we're here to serve them. So that's what we're committed to here at the college.
Awesome, awesome. So let's talk about your college. You have over 15 years in building teams and multicultural marketing, and you're doing that and have taken that experience to Schoolcraft. Tell us about the college, and what you do, how many people are there, and the size. What goes on in your day to day world?
Where there's a lot of stuff going on, from students to faculty to events to community engagement. We have about, on average, between credit and non-credit students, about 25,000 students on an average year. COVID was a little different, but we all were faced
Oh,
with those challenges. So we offer certificates, a quick, short pathway to making money quick, right? Figuring out what's the hot jobs out there so that we can better prepare them and get them out there, hit the ground running. But we also have associate's degree, and we have one 4-year degree here that's culinary and dietetics type of programming.
yeah,
And in the short time I've been here, I will tell you that I've witnessed a lot of first generation college students, such as myself, and
yeah,
to see them walk through the door and to know that this is this is their world that can be infinite, and the choices that they make here are going to be a good thing for their life and help them sustain and move up in the corporate ladder, whatever their dream or successes are. We're here to help them.
yeah, yeah. I think that it's a hidden secret sometimes in other states, but the folk over there in the Midwest know a lot about Schoolcraft, and so I think it's an excellent opportunity in academia for students to receive education, as you said, a quick route to the marketplace, right?
Yep.
So let's talk for a moment, if you can, about your career. And you're now in this space making a world of difference for not only students and the city and the surroundings. Did you ever have an idea that you would go to academia? When did you get a glimpse of your life and your career?
To be honest, with the culture that I was raised in, it was expected for me to be a doctor. The reinforcing those stereotypes
Yeah,
we might have heard.
yeah,
I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. I mean, I just went through the motions of having a job, putting in my hours, and whatnot. But I really didn't know until I got to APAC when I was at the Asian Chamber. Really, I found that my ability to be the conduit and connect folks to opportunities that might seemingly be out of reach for them was really what drove me. It's just the building of networks and contacts is what drives me.
yeah,
And so now that I'm in higher ed, combining it with first generation college student experience, immigration, first generation immigrants, all that is kind of melding together. And this is where I'm here to stay, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah. Well, you do well. I know from a fact that in that area that you are, in terms of city, state, and the surroundings, you're very well known as a connector. I think you're socially well at doing that, right?
Well,
And
thank
connecting
you.
the right people with the right opportunities, and very comfortable, in sharing your voice. And so I think that's very good. At what point did you realize that you could share your voice and make a difference and impact people's lives?
I will tell you that I didn't really think of it that way until I started getting people coming up to me and saying, "So, what if this happened? What would you do?" And then, as those conversations became more um, often, it occurred more often, I was like, "Oh, maybe I do have some value added." I think my confidence wasn't out of the gate, right? So, I had
Yeah.
to really slowly. I'm humble about it, but then I also need to just accept and not do what some other folks do and say, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. I just need to own it, accept it, and thank people when they say, you know what, thank you for that advice. You're welcome. I
Yes.
need to own it. So I'm working on that.
Well, yeah, it takes us some time to get there because we're so busy helping others.
Mhm.
And I think as we continue to watch and hear all of the women's platforms that are out here today, it's really telling us to get centered, to understand our opportunity and our capacities, and make sure that we know our authentic selves, right? And
Yes.
so I guess the thing is, what have you realized through this time of the 15, 16 years of experience in your career to be your most important or most significant accomplishment?
I really think it's not the title,
Yeah.
right? It's not the prestige. Those are just bonuses. I think for me, accomplishing means helping others discover their voice and values, and more so emphasis on the values. It's really your guiding compass, and without it, your pathway is muddier than you probably like.
Yes.
Success, it's not always the fastest route to achieving success. We all know trials and tribulations, but whatever that success is for you, for that individual, just do what's right. And I
Right.
know that sounds really generic, but if you stay on the straight and narrow, it will take you places.
Right, right. Well, I think that you've accomplished a lot. I mean, a lot of times we don't take credit for what we do because we're busy trying to give credit to other people. And as women, we do that a lot. And as one
Yes.
of our viewers, Caitlin, is just saying, own it, accept it, and thank people. And she's absolutely agreeing with what you're saying. Um, Inside of your success, as well as my own, I had to really understand what was necessary for me to continue the journey. And one of those was mentors. Can you tell me what you have found mentors to do for you, or supporters? How do you look at that being a significant part of the journey?
Well, I will tell you that there's not an exact model of mentors, right? So you would think, oh, because I'm a young female, I should probably look for a seasoned female in the professional world that I aim to go into. It should be a variety of things, just like diversity. You should have a variety of mentors, whether it be somebody who helps you professionally to, help you better interview or get you that next step in the career ladder, or it could be personal, somebody who can really sit down and listen and just be that compass for you when you're a little lost. So those are mentors. You just got to ask for them. Sometimes they don't come to you, so you got to be bold enough to make that ask. But the difference between mentors and at some level, you're going to need a supporter or an advocate. Those are people who are the ones that will advocate for you when you're not in the room. Those are the ones that when there's a job opening that they're privy of and they think it's a right fit for you, they're going to advocate for you. You don't know that it's happening, but it's going to come to you and it's going to be knocking on your door and you're like, where did that come from? Those are where you need a fine mixture of both.
Right, right. I would totally agree. Now, as I look at your successful career, I know many people think that you just got there by showing up, looking nice professionally, and smiling. You and I know better, right? Girl,
Yes.
snap, snap. Let's just say that is
Girl, let's
not
get
how
it.
that happens, right? You have not walked in my shoes, and I have not walked in yours. But at the
Right.
end of the day, we kind of look like we're smelling like roses, but that doesn't happen. So I'd like to tell you. That I kind of just showed up looking like this. But no, there were times when I fell down and I had to get up. I had to brush off. I had a few tears. And so how have you been able to keep going in difficult times?
Oh boy. I will say that it's not just your family and friends, right? They're always going to be there come heck or high water, right? But really to have industry leaders that you can trust and those who genuinely want to see you succeed as professionals. I mean, they all have gone through their trials and tribulations and have walked through some similar pathway or predicament that you're in.
Yeah.
And really, if they can help you apply the process that got them out of that snafu, hopefully you can glean from that and apply it to your problems and solve it.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, we have to just fess up. Yeah, we all fall forward, right?
Hmm.
And
Be
and
vulnerable.
I like that, vulnerable. Is that part of your authenticity plan? Is that what you do?
So I will tell you that being unapologetically me is kind of sort of a mantra, but really that's a ubiquitous term in this day and age, but really it's about how you treat people.
Mhm.
That's my authentic truth because it's a reflection on how you treat yourself. I strive to be conscious of my thoughts and actions, and I got a long ways to go, but I'm more cognizant of my delivery as I mature. And as my husband says, it's not the content, it's the delivery.
That's true. That's true. Well, I tell you, you deliver well, and you have some superpowers, and I could tell you what they are. I often ask our guest speakers to tell us their superpower powers and maybe why they think that those are attributed to themselves. So you're not going to be like everybody else. Tell me your superpowers.
That's a tough question. I think femininity. I
Okay.
know that that might not sound like a superpower, but by still dressing the way I choose to dress, that brings out my personality, and I'm not conforming. I like my dresses, I like my heels,
Yeah.
and that's not going to make me any less of a business person in a boardroom.
Yeah.
So I think that women should embrace the femininity if that's what they choose, and own it.
Yeah.
You don't need to always be, conforming to your environment. And then
Yeah.
I guess the second one would be radical responsibility. Own up when you mess up, and
Yeah.
then pivot when you're able.
I,
Everything counts. Everything counts, even when you're an associate or an intern. Doesn't matter what level you are. Own up when you mess up.
I love that. Repeat that: radical responsibility. Own up
Yep.
when you mess up.
Yep.
I love it. We're going to take that and keep that as one of our career master moments. And I'm
Have
sure
at it.
I'm sure you have another one, but I would like to ask you. Well, you say your superpowers are radical responsibility is one of them, and then femininity. I know a little secret that maybe not everybody knows. And so I'm telling the secret on here. I know
All
you're not
right.
supposed to tell secrets, but I know that you sing. And
Yes.
when I found out that you are a singer, I was blown away because, and I think it happened on Instagram or internet. I saw you over the holidays one year,
Probably Facebook.
Facebook, and I was like, "Shut up, get out of here! I can't believe Von Nguyen is a singer. She hid that from us. I
I'm just
love
telling you, if
it."
somebody gives me a multi-million-dollar contract, mark my words, I'm quitting my day
I know.
job. That's the only reason I would quit my day job if I can get a record deal.
I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, I won't do that to you to ask you to sing here, but I will tell our viewers that if you want to know more about Vaughn, you have to follow her. You can follow her on Facebook if you'd like, or you can do LinkedIn. How can people follow you?
LinkedIn and Twitters are public.
Okay.
Facebook is for my peeps like
Yeah.
you.
Yep. I get it.
And I do have a public channel to sing, so I'll send that along, and you can find it on my Twitter. So it's
Okay.
Social Me Savvy is my handle. So
I love it. I
Social
love it.
Me Savvy.
Social me savvy. Well, I love it. So here we are at the final thought of our talk today, and I got to tell you, I've had fun. I hope
I
you
did
have
too.
too. And what we normally do is ask our speakers to leave us with a career master moment. And while you have already given us so many gems and nuggets, I would like you to give us a final thought.
Well, I think I said it when you were so kind enough to ask me to join in your series, and I will tell you, never forget your roots. Um, our partnership and professional relationship started way back in, gosh, no, 2014, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Um, People wouldn't be where they are today without their tribe, and that includes those that make your life difficult as well. So, the advice I'd like to give is there's always a takeaway from each of those situations, good and bad, and that you never want to be too big for your power suit or power dress. So never forget your roots.
I love it. Never forget your roots. And I want to thank you for always being there when I call and
Oh,
to support this work, which I think is very important in terms of advancing women's leadership. And the reason that we, particularly at Career Master, said that our mission was to advance women's leadership is because my belief is that when women are in leadership roles, we do not have to worry about diversity, equity, inclusion, equity pay, or all of that will become possible.
yes.
And so that's where I stand, leaders. And when we begin leadership at the top, all right, with the positions like you're in, we have the opportunity to make a difference, not only in the lives of men, but women will be a part of that equation as well. And so
Absolutely.
thank you so very much for joining us today. And we will be looking out for what's going on at Schoolcraft, as well
Absolutely.
as what you can do in the future. I would like to just say Vaughn was also included in the Career Master inaugural magazine for the Detroit marketplace. And on her wall, you can't see back there, is a picture of the ladies, and it's a circle of powerful women in white that came together with my phone call. I love that. So you can't forget your roots. I called and you answered, and here we are in 2018 now, with the magazine going global. So
Yep.
thank you so much, and it's because of people like you. Have a great day and have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye, Vaughn.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye-bye. Wow. I certainly enjoyed talking to Vaughn. She's such a superwoman. If you don't know her, please get to know what she's doing and the work that she's doing to change lives in academia, but also because she's just a true, genuine person. I thank her for today. I thank Kaylin, I thank Lindell for joining us today. And I know there are viewers on Facebook as well as viewers on YouTube. And so if you didn't have a friend to bring with you today for the show, please make sure you see the replay and let them know to go to Career Mastered on either of those stations. And so I appreciate you joining us. We are going to be back on the air actually on Monday. We should be here Monday rather than next Thursday. That means it would be October the 4th. Our special guest for Monday is the renowned oncologist, Dr. Lisa Newman. And you will not want to miss her and all that she is going to share with us about the research for breast cancer and the things that go on with regards to our health. So I'm hoping that you will be there. One of the other things that I would like to share with you before we conclude is that the fall Career Mastered magazine, which is our double take issue with Albania Rosario, is out on the stands. You should be able to get it digital, or you should be able to get it in print. You can do that at Amazon.com, issue.com, or careermaster.com. And again, it is both in print and digital format. And we're so proud that the annual issue happened this fall. A couple of announcements that I'd like to make. The HBCU Career Mastered Special Edition publication will be out at the end of the year. And if you have an HBCU, you will want them to be included. So I will ask that you ensure you tag your HBCU. Go to Career Mastered at LinkedIn or Facebook. There's the flyer and the information there. Tag your HBCU. Ask them, are they included? Because you don't want them to miss out in this opportunity for their queen and their college to be showcased in this wonderful special edition. We believe in HBCUs and the history and the rich heritage that it offers for the African American Black community. Lastly, I want to share with you that we are ecstatic about a new pitch competition coming up, and you will want to be engaged. So for those that have not come to the Career Mastered Inside Career Success Show, you should be able to tell them, your friends, that beginning, hopefully, I'm thinking it's going to be on November, we're going to have a pitch competition live here on the Career Mastered Inside Career Success Show. So look for the information that will be coming out on our social media platforms. That is Instagram. It will be on careermaster.com. It will be on LinkedIn there, as well as on Lindsay Wicker, which is the YouTube channel. You should be able to find it there. But we are on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and you should be able to find out more about the pitch competition. If you are unemployed, if you are looking for a new job, if you are looking for a promotion, any of those categories, you will want to know more about this pitch competition. We are about careers and ensuring that you're in the right place at the right time with the right resources so that you can advance your leadership. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Monday as we talk to Dr. Lisa Newman, and make it a great day. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.